show you how the Zephyr came to the Wisconsin Great Northern Railroad. I am standing on the donor engine for the Mark Twain Zephyr, known as, on the WGN, the CNW 1280. 1280.
I don't know.
We currently don't know what the 1280 is, but I believe it is an SW600 or something like that. And originally for the prime motive power in the Zephyr was a Winton 8-cylinder straight, and in the 1280 is a electromotive division 8-cylinder V. So the cylinders are in a V motion. We have painted it in CNW because it will go on display in Spooner, Wisconsin, right after we gut everything out of it and drop it in the Engine Joe, the power car of the Mark Twain Zephyr. The CNW, this type of engine was built by EMD as a industrial engine, meaning it was built for small switch jobs. The CNW was the only commercial railroad in the U.S. to buy this type of locomotive. They bought two, the 1280 and the 1281. The 1280 ended up at Independent Locomotive Services in Bethel, Minnesota, and the 1281 location is unknown right now. The reason why we got the 1280 for the job of donating for the Mark Twain Zephyr was because the Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy Railroad, if they would have rebuilt the Zephyrs, they would have put this type of engine in it. Are there any questions?
Can we see, is the door unlocked so we could see the engine? Or is it locked up? And people might want to see the actual engine that will go in the Mark Twain Zephyr. That is pretty cool. So what we're looking at here, you're telling all the viewers this will actually go into the Mark Twain Zephyr?
Yes. This
Wow.
is the prime motor that is going to go into the Mark Twain Zephyr. The original motor was much longer in the Mark Twain Zephyr because it was a straight motor.
Oh, okay.
A V takes up less space because they're going in a V motion.
Ah.
And right here, this is the generator. It supplies all the electricity to turn the crankshaft to move the cylinders, and then takes the electricity from the generator down to the traction motors and makes the engine move.
Is it, last question before we move on to your video, is it as powerful, do you know, as the engine that was on the Mark Twain Zephyr? You said it's smaller, so is it
it should be the exact same horsepower, but in this motor, the original Winton was longer because it was straight. The cylinders were straight up. But this, with the V, it takes less space because then they can do them like this and like this. So one on top of another. Any more questions?
Well, what video do you want to show everybody for your first blog post today? You got videos of the trucks arriving a couple weeks ago. Is that what you wanted to show?
No, we can do this one.
Okay.
And another good feature of it is the air compressor, which is right up here.
There we go.
The air compressor was
Oh.
most important on the Zephyrs because if you're running 140 miles an hour with a train, you got to stop somehow.
Yeah.
So the air compressor pumps air, puts it into a holding tank, and then when the time comes, the air from the holding tank will go down through some pipes into the brake shoes. This particular model is, this should be a 3-cylinder, a 3-cylinder air compressor. It's in a V motion too. So 2 on this side and I think 1 on that side.
So where did you learn all this stuff about engines from?
Well, when I was a baby, I used to ride up in the cab of our more known Wisconsin Great Northern 423 with my dad.
Okay.
And I used to ride on the dinner train with my parents because they had to cook.
Oh, okay.
I ended up learning all this over the years.
Wow. Yeah, hey, you know more than I do about this stuff. You want to take a walk with me and show everybody the trucks that we got? While we walk over there, maybe we could show your video of them arriving, and then we can go to you over by the trucks. How about that?
Good.
All right.
Alexander Vreeland. Right here we have the lead truck for the Mark Twain Zephyr. As if you can tell from some of the trucks later, the front one and the rear one are bigger because they hold more of the weight. If you come over here, you see this gear? This is the traction motor gear. You know how I was explaining the traction motors from earlier? Well, this is the gear the traction motor hooks up to. The traction motor kind of hugs the wheel set. So when they hook it up, it grabs around and it kind of hugs it. And then another gear hooks up to this. The more teeth on a gear on a traction motor means the faster, if it's a freight passenger, this gear will tell the difference. And then here, you have an articulated truck. An articulated style truck is where two cars, where they usually have a coupler, they're joined together on one truck. If you look over there, you have two sets of articulateds, but they are only 2 cars. This was 4 cars. And then you have another articulated truck. And then down here, as you can see, if anybody is wondering what this thing is right here, this is called a leaf spring. It helps hold the truck and makes it a smoother ride going down the tracks. And then under this cap is the roller bearing. A roller bearing a bearing rides on a cushion of air, but a friction bearing rides on 2 pads, which convert friction and sometimes overheat. Here's a couple more. Here is another set of articulated trucks. This is the brake cylinder. The brake cylinder pushes these pads up against the wheel to stop the train. Without those, you'd be going too fast. And this is what you call a speedometer cap. A speedometer is something that is hooked up to a bearing that then counts the amount of rotations per minute and then sets it into a speedometer, like on your car. And then this is a broken leaf spring. You can tell if it's broken here, 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 and here. And that's it for this video.
So are they in order, do you know? Like so that like
No.
No. Are they in order? So that's the first one, this is the last one, or is this just how that they were delivered?
They weren't delivered in order.
Oh.
So the one big one up front, that would have been the lead truck.
Okay.
Got 2 middle, smaller trucks. And if you come back here, you can tell this is a bigger truck. So that's the front, this is the back, and those 4 are the middle.
Mm-hmm. So we're taping this on Sunday, July 26th, and the Engine Joe is coming up hopefully Wednesday or Thursday. Are they, how is this put together? Are they going to actually, do you think that they're going to put the Engine Joe right on top of the wheels, or no?
The wheels aren't even sustained for that much weight.
Oh, okay. So
they haven't had the wheel sets under the train in about since it was in where?
I think well, it last moved in 1997, so about 25 years ago. It moved from Joliet to Minooka on the Elgin Joliet and Eastern on its own power. So it's been 25 years.
Yeah, but these trucks are actually in really good condition for sitting in mud and
yeah.
been beaten to death for the past 25 years.
All right. Well, we have one last question from one of your fans, and they wanted to know if you knew. It's okay if you don't. Now, the Zephyr was built in 1935 and ran with these trucks that we're looking at. Knowing what you know about like railroads, they wanted to know, would these all be original, or at some point do you think in the train's life would these wheel sets get like traded out? So maybe are they all not? You think they're all like 1935, or do you think that they're?
Well, we were looking at one of the wheel sets, and we saw serial number 1.
Really?
That would have probably meant that one of the trucks, one of the wheel sets or something, would have been traded out for the Pioneer Zephyr.
Oh.
Number 1.
Okay.
And if I'm right, it was the lead power truck.
It might have the number 1 on it.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the Pioneer Zephyr is the first Zephyr to get built by the Bud company for the well-known Vreeland.
Okay. I'll take. There's some numbers here. I see some numbers there. I don't know if that's.
Well, take a look.
Let's see.
SER2.
Oh, SER2. Yeah.
That probably means
number
serial
2.
2.
So what we're looking at probably would have been. We're talking 1930s. This is. I mean, this is not like 1950s. They decided to put this on or something.
Because one thing they found a disadvantage in the articulated trains is if one car needed to get a new truck or something, they had to take the whole train out of commission.
Oh.
So that's why you didn't see very many articulated train sets in the 1950s brand new.
Oh, okay. So what we are looking at pretty much for those history buffs, these are the wheels.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. They might have been changed out once in the lifetime.
Okay.
Because when you're going 112 miles an hour constantly, you really wear down wheel sets.
Okay. Well, I think that's all our questions from your fans. If you, we'll put an email address on the screen here, and if you want to email Alexander any of your questions for any of his future blog posts or give him future ideas, just go ahead and send us an email to the email you're seeing right here on your screen right now, and he will do your best to answer your questions and get back to you on one of his future blog posts. So say goodbye to everybody. I guess this is the first. This will be the last time the Zephyr will not be up at the Wisconsin Great Northern. So next time you see it, we will have at least Indian Joe up here. So Engine Joe, yes, the engine named Engine Joe. So confusing.